Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Market Talk number 8 with Joe Valente from Tabatchouk Law and Robert Snyder from Silex Financial. Thank you for joining, gentlemen, again.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you, Jay. Thanks for having us.
Yes, definitely. So I hope everyone is enjoying their summer and getting a tan and taking a break from this crazy market if they can. But like always, we want to give you honest perspective of what's going on in the market from all sectors of the industry, from obviously me being a real estate agent, Bob being a loan officer, and Joe being a real estate attorney. So gentlemen, Bob, always like to start with you. Rates, what's going on, my friend?
Yeah, every time we think they're going to start to come down, they stop and they remain or creep back up again, and they're just hanging out, high sixes, low sevens, back and forth. Seems like that's where we're going to be for a while.
Okay.
Every time I say that, something else happens, but really, I think that's where we're going to stick around on a 30-year fixed.
Gotcha.
High sixes, low sevens, bounce around a little bit.
So we're going to stay there. And when obviously you can't predict the future. And if anybody could, that would be amazing. And I would be their best friend. That's for sure. So when you say we're probably going to hang around 6 or 7 for a while, your best educated guess, are we talking like maybe 6 months, a year, or is it even hard to tell at that point?
Later and towards the end of the year.
Till the end of the year.
Would be and maybe sometime later this year. The fear of the Fed raising their rates will come to an end, but I think at least to the end of the year, this is what we're going to see.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Joe, what are you seeing transaction wise in regards to you in the city, Jersey? Like, what are you seeing, a slowdown because of seasonality, or is it full steam ahead?
Yeah, I mean, New Jersey's kind of been the last couple months consistently average is the way I'll describe it, right? Like,
okay,
it hasn't been at a dead halt. It definitely hasn't been smoking, but it's been somewhere just like average. Like,
yeah,
deals are coming in at an average pace. What I've gotten is like a diverse amount of deals, and like it's weird. Like, I see a lot of vacant land. Brokers are talking to me about vacant land deals, which I'd get here, one here or there. Usually, but I have like a few that are in tow right now. I don't know if that's like a reaction from investors, just the price coming down on these opportunities, or what's going on. But that's the one oddity that I've seen the last couple months. Vacant land deals have been increasing.
Are they growing land, or where's this land coming from?
So yeah, just they're buying a plot of land and they have plans to build on it. Obviously, there's zoning concerns. You have to make sure that would work, but it could just be coincidence. But I have 3 or 4 of these right now.
Yeah, there is there is still some land out there, but it is scarce, especially in New Jersey in regards to the Highlands Act. It's really restricted the amount of building that can be done in the the north northwest of New Jersey. But but building has obviously picked up in regards to developers, but not necessarily in Jersey because of the lack of land and buildability in certain areas in New Jersey.
I guess an interesting point is, New York in the city, at least. I don't know about I wouldn't say so for like the surrounding more rural areas like Westchester and Long Island, but New York City is definitely seeing a shift in the market to a buyer's type market, which New Jersey is obviously not seeing because of the lack of inventory.
Right.
But it is becoming a buyer's market in New York City, and I think the brokers are dubbing that as such at this moment. Yeah.
Interesting. So is that because people are still maybe trying to get out of the city, or is it also because of the infrastructure of like work from home and remotely, that people are like, hey, if I can go to another state and work, that's what I'll do as well?
Yeah, I think it's just a reaction of, we are in a seller's market in the city where you had like New Jersey experienced, and is still kind of experiencing because of the lack of inventory, but bidding over price, that has now shifted to
neutral,
just buyers being able to get a deal more or less.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I hope that carries over to Jersey a little bit sooner than later, just to neutralize the market just a little bit. But we'll see in regards to that.
New York City tends to be ahead of the curve with real estate trends in general. So who knows? Maybe they'll. I don't know how it would change in New Jersey though with the lack of inventory. That's the problem.
I know.
Yeah. Anything like that, Jay? I mean, any change in lack of inventory?
No, I mean, it's still scarce, and there's still, multiple offers on many properties. I mean, you see a property hit the market, and probably within 3 days, in the agent notes inside of the MLS, it'll say, best and final due on this date at this time. And it's, there's probably a minimum of 10 to 15 offers on a property. So yeah, it's still pretty chaotic. Is seasonality even a thing right now? Or is that like seasonality is such on the back burner because there's so many other factors like supply and demand and interest rates? Like seasonality has basically gone out the window on the back burner of any affecting the market.
I think over the years, that whole spring market thing has started to, even before this lack of inventory had started to disappear and become less of a thing.
Yeah.
But now I think it's just, even less. I mean, there's just, this is like we always say, it's an odd market, but yeah, I don't think it's a seasonality thing. I don't think people care if it's hot or cold out. If they're ready to buy, they're looking. And if something comes on the market, it could be, hailing, and they're going to go look at the house.
Yeah. It's less seasonality, more individually situational. That's what we'll call it.
Yeah.
Situational.
With the exception of like your typical like Thanksgiving, Christmas slowdown, I don't think seasonality is playing a part right now much. Yeah.
Right.
I'll be interested to see if that even happens this year, the Thanksgiving, Christmas slowdown. What? I mean, it'd be hard to tell though, because it's just that inventory thing. So, or maybe a couple less houses go on the market, but will that change whether it's change the market drastically?
No, I don't think so. I think, there are clients out there that I know that, like, at this point, they don't care what month it is or what day it is. If an opportunity presents itself, they're going.
Do you see, Jay, like the type of property that hasn't been moving quickly as opposed to a move-in ready turnkey house, which is what's extremely high in demand in Jersey? That's where the bidding wars are. Yeah. Do you see it changing where a property that needs some work, a little less desirable? Do you see that becoming more of a thing or no?
It's a case-by-case basis, depending on if it's cosmetic or structural or, septic systems or whatever the undertaking potentially could be, and to what extent. You'll see more cosmetic stuff or outdated stuff get overlooked and say, hey, we'll just do it over time. Because honestly, at this point, people, buyers are like, listen, if the property is good, the house foundation is good, the layout is good, we'll do the rest.
I'm getting more calls on renovation loans, but no one's pulled the trigger. But I mean, not just say no, I've had a couple, but I mean, I'm getting a lot more calls on them.
Mm-hmm.
That answers that question a little bit. I think people are starting to think about it. Some of these homes, well, I can't find anything. Maybe I can find something that just needs to work, and I'll do the work somehow.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely an option. There was reading some of the data. There was a survey, put out there in, the entire United States, like how many. They asked buyers how many buyers said that they're 18% likely to purchase something in the next 6 months. So 18%, it's still a high number. And then 16% of homeowners said they're likely to sell in the next 6 months as well. So, there is still movement in the short term. It's just, how many of the 18, the other percentage of buyers there, there's a lot more than 18% just sitting on the sideline that kind of, that are kind of out of the market right now, ready to get back in. So,
I mean, I guess the other thing could be, and you hit on this earlier, it is becoming a little more friendly for builders, but I don't think there's that much available to build upon. Is the problem. But I do have a couple, there was a period of about a year and a half where there was like zero new construction deals going on. I have a couple in tow now. I don't know if there's going to be a movement a little bit in that regard, but you need the space to be able to do the project. I think it's less cost inhibitive now with the inflation going a little bit back down in the construction field. But
yeah, I think good.
I was just saying, like the whole thing with the land deals. I'm surprised that the builders aren't like swooping them up. So it always worries me when a client says, "I'm looking at land." I'm like, "Well, how come a builder grabbed it, right?" Like,
yeah,
like why hasn't a savvy investor grabbed this yet, right?
Yeah,
and I'm going to answer that question, Joe, because they're savvy. They know that one land where they can, say that town only requires you to have an acre per house, right? And you can only put one house on that lot. The savvy investors are going, my margins are way too low.
Sure.
Yeah.
The risk is way too high. I mean, especially in New Jersey in the Northeast, like these large builders, they need like, I guarantee you every single large builder in New Jersey is going after underproduction of golf courses. If golf courses are suffering, those builders are on the door going, "Hey, would you, be interested in selling?" And then they're going to take on that work of getting it approved to get the variance to turn it into a development. But in the Northeast, that's if they are large builders, that's the only way they would make margins is doing, huge developments. Because yes, inflation might be, coming down a little bit, but I mean, construction supplies are still, still expensive.
Yeah.
So, like a one-off lot isn't going to do it for, for them. But I mean, in the United States alone, I read that new construction has jumped 22% in May.
Yeah.
Just not here.
Yeah.
Just not here.
It's just not here. So the builders are on the ball. It's just, we're kind of in the Northeast pickle, lack of land, and there's lack of land. So we'll see. They're going to have to knock down malls next and start building houses.
Well, yeah, you're right. Or turn them into condos. I mean, I've seen some of that too.
Yeah. So it is interesting. I mean, interest rates, like you said, they're probably going to be steady here for a while. Doesn't really affect the market because of demand is so high. Still multiple offer situation in New Jersey. And there's just, not enough inventory. Bottom line.
It's been it's been kind of the theme of our monthly discussions for definitely going on 6 months now. I mean, for sure.
Yep.
I mean, I haven't done as many pre-approval letters recently, but the calls of new pre-approvals, people that want to get pre-approved, who want to start looking, hasn't slowed. So there's more buyers coming in. I think some may be taking a break because it is summer. They might be taking some weeks off, but that's about it. I mean, the new people coming into the market really hasn't slowed.
No. Yeah. I don't think it ever will, for a very long time. So, we'll see. We shall see, gentlemen. Anything else you guys would like to add at this point? So seasonality is out the window. Doesn't matter. It's a case by case basis, figuring out which individual situation is going to work for everyone. Sellers being educated enough to understand the opportunity that's in front of them and take advantage of it. That's a huge thing as well. I've talked to a couple of sellers and they'd be like, is it as good as, I'm hearing, or, what is, is it all smoke and mirrors, or do I have a really opportunity to, make a good amount of money, especially on properties that, aren't in the best condition. So, it is interesting to say the least. Keeps us on our toes for sure.
I said it before, like you were saying, you live under a power line, you live on a busy road, you have a house that needs work. Any of these things, now's the time to sell. If you're even close to selling, now's the time to do it.
Right. It's a good point. If you have a property that normally, wouldn't stand out when inventory is large, it'll definitely come to the forefront now.
Yep. You live on a cliff. know,
Yeah.
you can only use one door of your house. You know, you got a shot.
That's
You know,
right.
you
Yeah,
got
my
a shot.
sellers continue to be the same kind of demographic though. You're just seeing less and less of the seller who's selling and moving into another house in New Jersey that's bigger. It's more of sellers that are just leaving New Jersey,
Yeah.
or they're a little up there in age and they're just trying to downsize. That's really all you're seeing. You're not seeing the family moving laterally in New Jersey.
Yeah, they're getting out. They're
Yeah.
out of here. So, gentlemen, I appreciate your time as always. And let's
Thanks
see
for
what
having
new
us.
developments come up next week.
Sounds good, Jay. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Thank
Have a
you.
good August. Thanks.
We'll talk to you.
Enjoy the rest of the summer.